All right, and welcome. Welcome to our new channel. Welcome to the MakeCode from Microbit channel here on Twitch. Coming directly from Mixer. And here we're going to be talking about this little fellow here, which is called a microbit. I have to run back for coffee. All right, so on this channel, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be coding with a program called MakeCode from Microbit. Hello, everyone. We're coming from Mixer and looking at this show. We've been programming this little thingy in this website called the Microbit, and this is MakeCode for Arcade. And what we're going to be doing is tons of cool programming on the channel. All right, so this is our first stream on Twitch, so we're still learning how this works. So bear with us, and yeah, we're gonna start doing a quick project. If you have ideas or suggestion of things we should look into, feel free to jump in the chat and send us a note. We'll take a look at that. Otherwise, we'll go and do some Python today. So we'll take any of these activities. For example, the famous 7-second challenge. I don't know if we've done that one yet. All right, we could do it. 7-second challenge in Python. So in MakeCode, you can do tons of coding, including blocks. If you're starting, or actually I love blocks, even though I code a lot. And you can do Python and you can do JavaScript. So we're going to try to do our friend Python here by clicking Python tutorial. And I must say this is MakeCode Python. It is not compatible with the MicroPython you've been doing on Microbit. It's slightly different. Okay, it is more made for MakeCode. The goal of the game is to press a button exactly after 7 seconds. So this is really testing how good you are at measuring time. And there's a question about servos. So let me go through this, and then I will have to find a servo. Servo might be for tomorrow. Well, maybe I'll squeeze out and find one. But we'll do a full episode on servos. All right, let's do the 7-second game. I'm gonna click OK here. All right. 7 seconds. 1, 2, but you have to do it as precise as possible. So the way this works is you're gonna click and then count to 7 and then click again. So we're gonna make it simpler. A is to start. So we're gonna have a start from here and then stop here. Kind of simplifies the solution. All right, so the first thing we need to do is handle a button click. To do that, we're going to go just like we did in blocks in input. And in this case, you'll see that we have a toolbox. It looks a bit different from the blocks. It is still the concept of draggable code that you can bring into your code space. But since we don't have blocks, we're going to drag text. Now here's a pro tip. Click on this, get more help. So do something when the button A, B is pushed down, yes. And then tells you button is the button that needs to be pressed and body is the code to run. All right, so I'm going to drag this in. And I got my Python here. Let's go ahead and collapse this so you can win a bit of space. Okay. So we have a function here, a definition. And it is going to be registered with this call. It's going to say, well, whenever A is pressed, run this function. Okay, and then pass is just a keyword in Python that says do nothing. We need that keyword because you can't have an empty function. But we'll take care of that. All right. This is your hint. We can click next. And the way this works is that you're basically going to have to remember the start time and do some math. So if you think about your, that's my paint mode is, let's draw a timeline. This is our timeline. And then basically you're going to say start here. And then you're going to say stop here. And this point here, we're going to measure time. And that's going to be our start. So that's going to be this variable. And at this point here, when we press B, we are going to measure the end time. So let's start focusing on this part, which is remembering when we start. And you can see here, there's a few things that are different. We've declared a variable here. And if you want to mutate this variable in the function in Python, you need to declare that it's global in the function. So you're basically saying, yeah, this is really this one. And now we can say start equals, and I can either start typing or I could go in input too. More. Hey, there we go. Nothing. I'm just going to do running time. And I press tab to complete it. Okay, so we have one variable. And what you can do always when you have these things is, oh, we don't have the debugger. All right, so let's click next. And now we're going to tell the user, we're going to show that it actually registered a click, because you want to give a feedback telling the user that it did that. So I'm going to go and drag this out because that's going to be faster. Remove that white space, and I'm going to go and do .js board, press tab, complete it. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so keep going with the example, and I can test it in the simulator. If I press A, I can see that I have my chessboard. I don't see the variable, so we'll try that out in the simulator later. Okay, now we're going to talk about the second step, which is button B. And then just like the first one, I'm going to go and drag my button here. Now, it says A2. It's not smart enough to figure out that there's a B. So I'm going to have to patch it myself. So I renamed this function, renamed it here, and then I'm using button B. So this function, now that it'll comment here. This function will run when A is pressed. And here I'm going to add a note on this function will run when B is pressed. So now it's clearer. I got maybe put a little bit of air in my code. There we go. And I could also say this is the start. This is the time when A was pressed. Think about your future self that has to read the code, and you might just be happy to read that when you come back in a few weeks and you forget everything about this code. All right. And just like before, we have to do a bit of math here, so we're going to spell it out a bit more than the tutorial. So I'm going to create a variable called n, which is the time at which we press B, and then now we can compute the elapsed time, which would be computing the end time minus the start time. So if you think about your timeline, this is the past, and this was when you press A, and then you've got B, wink. So we've got our start here. Not really good. I'm gonna have to have a typing thing. Start, and then we have end. And this in the middle this is our elapsed time. Yay, happy. Okay. So that's the math we do. We get the elapsed time, which is great. We get milliseconds. That means it's very precise. And the game is to be as close as possible to 7,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure the error. And the error is going to be elapsed minus 7,000. Now this error, if you're shorter, so if this is shorter, let's say 6,000, if you do your little math here, let's do some example. If you do 6,000 minus 7,000 equals minus 1,000. Okay. Let's put it on this. Okay. So your error is minus 1,000. But if you have 8 seconds, so that's 8,000 minus 7,000 equals 1,000. So that's a positive error. So what we want is we want to normalize this. And that's why we use the absolute value. We want the absolute value of the error as being the score. So the lower the score, the better. And apps is a function in Python that takes a number and returns the absolute value. So the absolute value of minus 1,000 is going to be 1,000. Yeah, great. And the absolute value of 1,000 is going to be 1,000. Great. Now that we've done all this math, this means that if you hit precisely 7,000 milliseconds, 7 seconds, you're going to show 0 as a score. Otherwise, you're going to show a different number. So that's the idea behind this game, done in Python. And I've done a little bit of math in the middle, explaining what's going on. All right, so last step is probably going to be to display this, and we're going to use a show number. So that's great. Score. Let's test this program. Can go here. So I press A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 3, 5. Whew, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. All right, so let's get into the hardware. I'm gonna go and click on my hardware webcam here. I got my microbit. I've upgraded the firmware on it. So without further ado, I'm gonna, before clicking on download, I'm gonna pair the device. Click there, pair device, and connect to it. And what you'll see is that there is now a USB icon here. Right there that tells you that the microbit is connected. And once you have that going on, you got one click download. So click download and notice that it is downloading and my game is downloaded now. That means I can actually go ahead and play the game. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 149. I'm 2 seconds away. This was a sloppy run, but still 7-second game worked. I'm gonna maybe mute it. Let's add at the start a show 7, which is the title of the game. All right, and download again. Again, once you're in download, it's super cool. You can try these things out all the time. Now I'm going to show you one more thing. If you want to understand how your program works, you can do a bit of debugging. And debugging is that little bug here. You can see right there, the debugger. It's our super favorite feature here. So love the debugger. And we're going to use that. So I'm going to click on the debugger. I'm going to hide the hardware camera. Oh, I swapped camera. So I need to bring back the camera, put myself there and then hide it. All right. So we're in the debugger, and if you've done debugging in blocks, you see that this is slightly different. It has more things. It has something called a call stack. And also here, you can see that when I move my mouse, Python, there's like these little dots that show up. And they tell you to add a breakpoint. It's like a stop sign where the program, the debugger, is going to stop. So I'm going to stop at the start. And I'm going to start on A, and I'm going to start on B. So everywhere, pretty much. And now I'm going to look at restart debugging. So this is your toolbar for the debugger. You can see that there's a few tools here. But the one we're interested in is restart here. I'm going to click that. And it ran, and it is now paused. You know it's paused because this is becoming play. It's a bit subtle, but this line here selected is where your program is. So it hasn't executed this line. It's waiting for you to do something. There is no variable in this program, so this is empty. And now we can see that there's 3 more icons here. And these are very common in debugger. Step over, step into, and step out. Think about exploring a dungeon, and that's your program. You either want to go over something, just ignore it, just treat it as a black box, or drill into a program, go deeper in one level, or you just want to leave the current function. Okay, so I'm just going to step over, and now it's here. It's registering my event. You can see I have a new variable here, start. All right, so I'm going to keep running. And now when I press A, boom, it stops here. Notice that, whoops, need to get used to that. This is my call stack. This is where I am in the program. I am running this function called, oh, why did we switch into JavaScript? I didn't notice that. Interesting. I was in Python, now I'm in JavaScript. Okay, that's really funny, and I didn't notice it. Yeah, my call stack. All right, so yeah, I can run things, and I can see that start is now. Yeah, looks like. Okay, I need to report the step to figure out. Probably maybe closing the dialog. Closing the tutorial, went into JavaScript. Let's exit debug mode and go back to Python. All right, and debug. There we go. I'm gonna put my breakpoint here, here, and restart. Okay, back to Python. So I'm here, and I hit run. I'm going to press A. Okay. Well, it's kind of the same feeling. You've got your call stack. You know where you are. You got your variable. Variable is still 0. But as soon as I step, now you see that it's 2691. And I count 7 seconds. When I click here, you see that we're on the other side. And now there's a few more variables. And elapse are scored. They're all null because we haven't assigned them yet, so that's kind of the default value. But as I go through the program, you're going to see what they do, and you're going to see all the math happening. And that is why you want to have a lot of variable, because you can see exactly in the debugger, in this section, how the values are computed. It's a very important tool if you want to understand programs and figure out why you have bugs. We do bugs. We have bugs all day long when we're professional developers. We use the debugger a lot. Not this one, but similar. So I start with end, and then I computed the error. They might not be in order, so okay. Oh yeah, elapsed. Okay, 2 seconds. Then the error was minus 4,000. So of course I needed to go for the absolute value, which is positive, which looked great. And that is my final score, which is great. It's exactly how I wanted the game to work. And now it's going to show it. So using the debugger, I was able to do that and trace precisely what happens in my program. All right, well, that's the 7-second game in Python that you can do from a tutorial. We added a few comments, but it's basically the tutorial. It's a fun game. Again, at the end of the program, when you're ready, pop your microbit, hit download, unplug, and put your battery pack, and you're ready to challenge everybody in your house to figure out who's the best at counting to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, now for the traditional screenshot time, let's go to our screenshot mode. And I need to go, the other way. All right. I want to do one little, where is it? I'm going to reset this. There we go. Some unhappy, no, whoops. And can't do anything without a red arrow. And there we go. Screenshot time, everybody smile. All right, got a screenshot for the video. So that's all for today, which was our first stream on Mixer. This is the MakeCode for Microbit channel. And we're talking about the microbit, which is the super cool little, where is it? Super cool little hardware here. You can see it there. This is a piece of hardware you can find and you can learn to program. We are here on Twitch. We're taking messages on Twitch. If you have comments or anything like that, send us a message. Otherwise, this will be on YouTube as well. So make sure you subscribe to this channel to learn more. We've got a full schedule on the Twitch page. Randy, when is the next microbit stream? I think we're going to do a weekly microbit stream from now on. So make sure you send us your request on the forum. We'll go through all the questions you have. We'll try to, we're still organizing the channel. Yeah, Monday is going to be Monday at this time. If you go on Twitch, you'll see that there's, let's see if I can go on Twitch. Nope. Can't go. No, can go on Twitcho. Too bad. Yeah, we'll have a program and yeah. Check out the schedule on the Twitch page. There is all the information you need there as far as knowing where their shows are. But otherwise, yeah, all the existing shows. We're just doing a lighter schedule for the summer as far as the beginner show is. All right, everybody. Well, this was the first Twitch show. It was a lot of fun, and we covered the 7-second game in Python. Have a good afternoon, everyone.